Good morning. Hope you've had a beautiful weekend. Another gorgeous day, a little cooler, good if you prefer a cooler day. We will see. Today's reading is recognize your connection to the universe to experience oneness. Our bodies meet the rest of the universe where our skin ends, that interconnectedness we talk about all the time. All that delineates our bodies from their surrounding in this thin layer. Try releasing the idea that we are separate or apart from everything else that exists, and instead try looking for that connectedness. We can assert our unique individuality while still recognizing we're deeply interconnected. We are the one tapestry made up of infinite and interwoven threads. We are many and we are one. When we recognize our connection with the universe, we have that ecstatic experience of oneness. That's a little new age sounding, but I do want you to think about that interconnectedness when, I don't know, you kill a fly, and I hear kids are always asking me, what's the point of flies? What's the point of this? Forcing your brain to stop and find that connectedness. Why do we have this bug in our system? Why does this thing happen? We do have a few awful things that happen in our life that we don't understand the point of it and the benefit of it to the whole greater good of the world. I don't even want to get into those dark things, but yeah, that's the only time when I have a hard time appreciating interconnectedness. Otherwise, on a different note, let's lie down. There's been some requests to work on calves. I'm going to do a bit of hips because notice my dominant leg is tight. I think on the weekend we either overdo it or underdo it. So we're going to bring some equilibrium back to our body this morning through mat work as well as our traditional sun salutations. Coming onto your mat, remember the sacredness of our spine, holding all of the whole skeleton together. So I want to take that same reverence as I bring my bum towards my heels and slowly lie down. Arms by your side. You can choose soft 45 or T, palms turned up. We move away the different arms, shoulder blades, rib cage, so that that spine can lie down, almost like it's lying between these objects. I can feel the soles of my feet pressing into the firmness of the floor. Then I notice the tailbone making contact with the firmness of the floor. Take a big breath in, arms root down, chest rises. And as you exhale, engage the core and attempt to press the back down. You will notice tugging on the front of the body that as your belly wants to press into your spine, your back doesn't necessarily want to press into the floor. Maybe today your yoga is just noticing the surrender and the resistance, these two different sensations inside your body every time you move into a different shape. Inhale, chest to the sky. Look for that beautiful stretch, and as you exhale, surrendering your spine to the floor, where's the resistance? That contrast, black and white, yin and yang. Inhale, chest to the sky. Exhale, back down. Once more. Inhale, chest to the sky. Exhale, back down. And so then we start this tiny wave up and down of tension and relaxation. Tension or resistance and relaxation. And maybe you do this for the whole time we have our class. And guess what? It's like a tiny repressed cat-cow. And I'm coming to neutral. Let's walk our feet wide and let your knees fall to the right, as if we were doing windshield wiper. And just check in with that left hip, left thigh. They connect at the hip bone, but go all the way down to the knee. Back to center. Let them fall wide to the left. Checking in with the right hip bone. Right thigh, right knee, and back to center. Over to the right, and back to center. Over to the left, and back to center. You're going to keep going back and forth. How does that feel? Get an internal stretch inside the joints, that whole area, but I'm also getting an external massage from my body moving on the hard floor. The next time your knees are to the right, let them fall even wider. What's your range of motion with that left hip and knee? And then take the arms behind you, maybe grab your hand. Oh, lengthen, stretch, maybe lean to the right and lean to the left. And when you feel like you can't stretch any further, just settle in there for 2 breaths. And then back to center. Knees to the left. Switch which hand you're grabbing. Lengthen, imagining that right knee going towards the earth. Notice the resistance that might be happening in your right hip or thigh. And then back to center. Let's bring our arms into cactus. Can you bring the soles of your feet together without looking? You're becoming more aware of the body, especially when we bring right half to left half. That's the proprioception we're always talking about. Still can feel some resistance in my hips, so I know that it's a good thing that I'm going to do that in our practice today. And then slowly close your legs. Thighs to chest, little boat. Let's take 3 breaths, gently rocking side to side. Massage and rhythm. You can even take away your hands and still do the rocking. Your core's going to turn on and do the work for you. And then let's turn that into circles. I want to start swirling one direction then the other. Option to do egg beater with hands or without. So swirling the knees separately and then back the other direction. And let's take it in the sky. Oh, so tight. So I'm still swirling, flexing the feet, turning on those thigh muscles. One direction and the other. And then coming back to center, hug those knees in as deeply as you can. Ankles are crossed or not. Gently breathing lower back down into the floor. Enjoy this stretch. Uncross your ankles if they've been crossed. And we're going to take our knees to the floor. Double leg spinal twist. Right arm open to a T. Checking in with that lower back. So when we do this twist, you want to know, is it effortless ease or is there resistance in your body? And you know how every day I read from different decks? They're not tarot cards, they're just inspirational decks. Today on hayhouse.com, there's a 50% off sale. And every so often that's what I look at. And it's just something different than having a book that you go to start your day, because sometimes a book can be too much first thing in the morning and you think of it as homework. Back to center and take your knees to the right, left shoulder heavy. What I like about a deck is I can just pull out one thought or affirmation, something positive to kind of set the tone for my day. Ooh, and sometimes I'll do it at dinner parties. I'm pretty sure they do have tarot cards on a lot if that's what you're interested in. And then back to center, little boat or circles. Or back to egg beaters. What do your hips need today? Right leg in tight, left foot drops, slide. First I want to see what neutral feels like. I'm not flexing or pointing. So if you find your hip flexors are particularly tight, I'm going to demonstrate with blocks, but you can do the same pose. I've seen physiotherapists do it. Pretend you're on a desk so that your bum stays on the desk but your leg is dangling. Oh, that feels good. Now play around with point and flex here. And then switch, left leg in, right leg out. Let that right leg dangle. So imagine you're on the edge of a footstool or the edge of your bed and you let that leg really dangle. So some people lift it up and then how low can they drop it? Slow and controlled. And then back to center, I'm going to add a second block, emulating being on a piece of furniture. Lift the bum up. Right leg in, left leg extends. Oh yeah, this is the psoas stretch, but oh my gosh, I can feel it in my hip. Lift your chin slightly to the ceiling. We want to create that arc in the neck. Oh. Left leg in, oh, right leg extends. And I'm going to put both feet on the floor, lift my bum, get rid of these blocks, and we're going to come back to our single leg wind relieving pose. Right leg in, left leg extends. Let's do 2 breaths, toes point. Two breaths, feet are flexed. So toes are now pointing to the ceiling instead of across the room. And then finally, left hand takes right knee over, single leg spinal twist, shoulder girdle heavy this time, arms to a T, anchor those nails, spread your hands. And now I feel that ringing out sensation in the belly. I can feel it in the glutes, the hips, the sciatica. So, I'm going to gently let this go a little deeper, explore my range of motion without my shoulders lifting. And you could come in and out of this. My feet aren't flexed or pointed. And then back to center. Oh, little boat. Left leg in tight, right leg slides straight. 2 breaths, toes point. That's going to activate your calf and your front of your thigh. Right hand's going to take left knee over. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Now do 2 breaths, feet are flexed. Lift your chin slightly. And finally, right hand takes left knee over, single leg spinal twist, focusing more on the shoulder staying grounded. Arms could come to a T, so you're not using any force on the hip. And back to center, knees to chest, little boat, but I'm going to keep them slightly wide. That's my natural hip structure. What I want to do is go with that same action of opening the inner thigh, inner hip, which tends to be tight on loose hip people. So hands to knees, let the knees fall wide, and pause here. And I want you to notice, I'm going to call it a knot. I can feel a hesitation on my inner thigh, my groin muscle. So, knees are supported by your hands. Lift your chin slightly. Let's do 3 breath rounds here, and using your exhale is where you're going to let the legs fall open. You want to get over that knot or that's happening in your hips. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. So now I feel I'm at my natural range of motion or optimal openness. I'm going to walk my hands down the shins, pull them in wide, double leg wind relieving pose. I'm going to flex my feet. So now we're in a frog, essentially on our back. Now I'm going to take the feet in the air, but take the pressure behind the thighs or knees and just set up for have a baby. And I can feel my hips resisting. Option to be relaxed or flexed, or hold your ankles or big toes. Oh, I can't even come into full pose today, so tight. soles of the feet together. Option to bind if you can reach. And then feet to the floor, soles together, knees out to the side. Cactus arms, you know where we're going with this, reclined goddess or cobbler. And then close your legs. Oh. Thighs to chest, little boat once more, a little bit wider than usual. So we're going to focus on the calves. I'm literally just going to lift my feet in the air and check in with my calves. Are they squishy or hard today? And I want to point and flex. We're going to work on the same action when we're standing, that point and flex. So I've always had very hard developed calves. I found out early on that if you walk on the ball of your foot and you're not a heavy foot walker, especially walking up the stairs and walking a lot, your calves are constantly engaged. So this happens if you wear high heels all the time in your job, or if you walk on the ball of your foot. And we I always say to my son, let's walk like a cat, light on your feet. We have creaky stairs, so living in this house has only amplified that action. Some people in your life might be lead foot, heel walkers. Now we're going to let your legs fall wide, and I want to see what my natural range of motion is in the inner thighs today. Super tight. So initially I'm going to hold my inner knee flush. Let's take 3 breaths. I'm not flexing or pointing my feet. This is as neutral as I can get. And in your mind's eye, be very aware of the tension in the inner thighs. Now, if you're enjoying this, you can take your arms to a T and let this happen a little more naturally. 3 breaths, no pointing or flexing, just seeing what naturally happens. And close our legs. Let's do it with the strap now. So I'm going to hold my right leg in the air, hands interlaced behind the leg. Flex and lower that left leg out of the way. And let's stay here for 2 breaths. I can feel a deep stretch in the left hip. Point and flex. You can massage your leg. Now, we're going to take it further, using the strap to the ball of our right foot, Old Faithful, bringing that leg into extension, so heel over knee, knee over hip. And I might start to stir circles first, that's pretty intense in the calf. I'm going to take both straps into my right hand. Left palm's going to hold left hip down, slowly open. And we'll pause here. You have a choice. Your left hand can hold the left hip down or left arm to a T and turn and look to that hand. Just notice the tension in your body, that's fine. The awareness is kind of all that really matters right now, not how wide you can open that leg. And then we'll take that leg to the sky, strap into the left hand, right arm to a T. Back to the sky and get rid of the strap, thighs to chest, little boat or circles. Feet in the air once more. Let's let them fall wide and see if things have improved. Oh, still super tight. Arms can be wide. And then close your legs. Let's keep left leg in the air, right leg lower. We'll take 3 breaths with that right leg on the ground, left leg in the air. You can point and flex, you can massage this leg, you know the drill. So some of my calf stretching also starts with the ankle. I can feel that action if I point there. And now I'm going to take a strap to the ball of my left foot to assist this stretch. Starting to stir circles in one direction then the other. And let's take both straps at our left hand, release that leg to the left, right hand holds right hip. One more breath. Take it to the sky, straps into the right hand, flex, and we're going to stretch the left IT band by taking that leg slightly across the midline. You can also turn and look to the left hand. So now we get that diagonal stretch. And then back to center, undo, thighs to chest, little boat or circles, or egg beaters. Let's quickly do shoelace, just a nice gentle stretch for the hip. Knees are into our chest, right crosses over left. Hands at opposite knees. And as you draw those thighs towards you, keep the shoulder girdle squared off and down. And let's not walk our hands to the feet today. I want you to focus on the knees so the hips stay squared off. Close your eyes and notice what's happening in that right glute or hip. Each time you breathe out, you might be able to pull those legs closer to your belly. And then switch. Left over right, line up the knees, hands on opposite knees, pulling the thighs to your belly. What do you notice about your left side? And then shake it out. We're going to roll into our side, curl up in a ball for a moment, 2 breaths here. And then slowly pushing yourself upright. Let's come into wide leg extended child's pose for our hips. Toes touch. Knees as wide as your mat if that feels good. First, I'm going to sit back. So this we often use as our thigh stretch. Oh yeah, and I can feel that. You might even give your hip flexors a little massage here. And then, I'm going to come into extended position. And then back to tabletop. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to do our cat-cow here. Bum in the air, slowly look up. There's your first cow. Engage the core because we don't want to dump in that belly. Coming into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Remembering that sometimes the placement of the bones and the movement and the breath, those are the meditation, not how deep of a pose you're going to feel a stretch. And then coming to neutral, here we go. We're going to step back, high plank. Ooh, my least favorite. Okay. My head is in line with my spine. There, you made 30 seconds. Oh, I haven't had my coffee much today. Remember, cow is your resting, dog is your resting pose. Okay, there's a minute. I'm gonna take a quickie. Then come back to my high plank. Nice work, guys. You feel strong and powerful? More seconds, we can do it. The ball of your feet are killing you. You could drop your heels slightly, keep your knees bent, and come into your high plank. Whatever feels better. I know for me it's more wrist and the base of my hand, or any previous injuries in your body. Feel that heat building. Notice that you're building energy for later in the day and to keep you through your practice. 5 more seconds. Knees down, press back, extended child's pose. If you want to go longer, I encourage you to enjoy that sensation and that determination. While we're here, palms are still on the floor. Press the floor away, bum towards your heels, heart towards the earth. My elbows are lifted. I'm getting a nice stretch behind the heart. Coming back to tabletop. Tuck your toes. We're going to walk to the top of the mat. Forward fold. And arms to the sky. Reach up in preparation for our sun salutations. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Fold. Plant. Lower down. Sleeping cobra, 1 breath. Inhale. Exhale, pick up your head. There's your baby cobra. Press back dog. Pedaling your dog. So, good calf stretch. Let's drop left heel fully. Right heel lifts just a little. Not any bend in the leg. Right heel presses down. Oh, left heel lifts, no bend in the leg. You're going to go back and forth, not bending your legs. It's almost like you're pedaling. This is super intense in the calf and the shin. And then walk up, wide arm, heart center. Okay, we need to do a couple more rounds. Inhaling up, exhale, fold. Half back, fold, plant, lower down, 1 breath, sleeping cobra. Pick up your head, baby cobra. Press back, downward dog. Let's do that stretch one more time. So I'm going to walk in so I can drop my heels, or almost. Let's take left heel presses down, right leg straight. Right heel presses down, left heel lifts slightly. So I'm kind of going back and forth, not bending my knees. We normally would bend our knees. Left foot forward, right knee back. Low lunge, choose low, or rise up to high. Hands release, feet together, fold, rise, heart center. 1 more to each side, let's do this. Inhaling up, exhale, fold. Half back, fold, plant, hop, lower down, 1 breath, sleeping cobra. Choose the next cobra, baby, or press into up dog. Down dog. Right foot forward, left foot back, high lunge. Really press that foot down, calf is active. Hands release, feet together, fold, rise, heart center. Last side, inhaling up, exhale, fold. Half back, fold, plant, hop, lower down, 1 breath, sleeping cobra. Pick up your head, baby cobra, press back, downward dog. Left foot forward, right foot back, high lunge. Hands release, feet together, fold, rise, and heart center. Nice. Okay, so when I think of calves, there's a pose, and I'm going to grab 2 ways I can do it. The most intense way is using this block. And I'm going to bring the ball of my foot to the block and then the other. This is too high for most of us, and try to stand up straight. This is the deepest stretch I can think of. I've got the ball of my foot and my toes up on the block. Let's see, here's a thinner book. So you can use a book. 1, 2. That feels actually too small for me now. However, whether I choose this version, the higher version, or here's an easier one, roll your mat. And I'm gonna make a wedge. Smart to start smaller. What's gonna happen is, let's take 5 breaths here. Initially, you might not feel anything if the wedge isn't very high. So, I don't know if you can see much what I'm doing. It's not a very dramatic wedge. So let's inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale. While I'm in this pose, I want to feel heat pouring down the back of my legs, heel or grounding. I feel like I might want to do it a little bit higher. Ball of my foot and toes on the wedge. 4 more breaths. Inhale 1, exhale. I'm just standing in mountain. Inhale 2, exhale. Inhale 3, exhale. And once more, inhale 4, exhale. I'm still not feeling anything, so I'm going to take it a little bigger. Let's do 4 breaths here. Inhale 1, exhale. Are you noticing anything in your calves? This action, remember, everyone's body is different. How you were born, how you learned to walk as a child, what shoes you wear for work, how steep are the stairs, and how many are in your home. And when you've had enough, get your mat back to normal. So, the most ultimate calf flexion pose I could think of was awkward pose. I'm going to show it to you front on and sideways. I put it in the chair pose category. Let's start with chair just for fun. So I'm going to stand in mountain, arms come up to the sky, squeezing that imaginary beach ball, and start to sit down. You can see that I still have that curve in my lower back. I don't want to flatten it. So this is chair pose, often used actually as a core pose, but I can feel it in my thighs right now. A meaner version is putting that block between your thighs. Oh, and I could even take the block between my hands and sit down. There is a variation. So how long could you hold this? It's going to be super intense in the arms and inner thighs. So pressing isometrically the block in the hands and the block between the thighs to center. That's one variation. Can you hold that for 5 breaths? The other one I prefer is awkward pose. It is intense on your knees. So if you have a knee challenge or an ankle challenge, you might not be doing this. I'm going to come, first I'm going to take my hands like almost a zombie. And then I want under the height of my shoulders. Palms can be facing down or facing that isometrically squeezing towards an imaginary block. So you decide what feels better. And then I'm going to sit down, but now I'm going to come up on the balls of my feet. Awkward pose. It's like I've taken chair and ramped it up. And I instantly feel my knees turn on. Let's stay here for 2 breaths. Oh, my ankles still love it. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale and come on up. Now I'm going to do it one more time facing you. That is intense. Squeezing the ball, the beach ball, or the block in front of me, or palms down like you're patting somebody. Arms are shoulder height and shoulder width. I'm up on the balls of my feet. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Engage the core. Exhale and come all the way up. That is one thing we're going to continue. If you're enjoying that quad activation and the calf activation, especially Yana, you could do that a couple times, or you could do it every day. Watch your ankles, watch your knees. And just one last pose. Let's do eagle, and then we'll wind down. Karate chop arms, right into left, twine, right leg over left, sit down, or try to bind. Right toes behind left calf. Squeeze your thighs together. 2 breaths. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale and release. Shake it out. We'll do the other side. Karate chop. Left into right. Bind. Right leg's going to be my standing leg. Left over. Touch down or bind. You could come up on the ball of that foot and add the awkward pose leg, but I think that's too much for our knee and ankle. Your choice. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale and shake it out. Today's class went very quickly. I noticed that my knees were feeling a lot of that work, which tells me we need to do a little bit more quad work later this week. There may be a few classes this week that are classics. I'm going to be going to a cottage with my brother. We've never been to this cottage together before, and so I'm very excited to spend this time with my brother and his family. Liam will be with his cousin, so I may have to use, if the reception is bad, I think it's in the Corthus, I will probably have to use a classic. So I nourish myself. This is something that I battle with every day. Does the food I'm eating prolong my life or shorten my life? Sometimes I live in the moment, I'm like, who cares about all the rules? But then I think about, do I want a long quality life or do I want a long not quality life? Decide that today you will eat only food that loves you. You know better than anyone else what is best for you. And sometimes we just need a little nudging, and that's why I don't necessarily agree with diets, but every so often going back into an inspiring way of eating or reading a cookbook that was very clean and inspired you. I am going to try to go back into my Whole30 again. This summer has been hard, so much entertaining. The idea that eating only plants and protein, cutting out alcohol, even if it's for 30 days, cutting out dairy and grains for 30 days has a dramatic effect on the skin, the joint pain, the inflammation in your joints is a big thing. Even burning your skin is a sign of inflammation. And there's a theory that if I was eating more alkaline or non-inflaming, it helps hormone levels, especially for women, it's linked to that. So, thank you so much for your effort. The good in me sees the good in you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste.